foam roller, or as I like to call it, the pool toy. I don't typically like to use it, right? So if you're rolling on something like your calves and you're like, oh my gosh, this is super tender, and it's on the foam roller, that's fine, right? We can progress things and we can roll out our calves this way, but we do want to progress to something more aggressive, like a harder foam roller with, with spikes, like a rumble roller, and eventually get to a lacrosse ball, or you really want to feel some pain, right? Using something like a handle of a kettlebell or a barbell. But what I do really like the roller for, and especially a soft one for people that I see, my clients, my patients, is to hit the thoracic spine, right? We need to have rotation, and we get most of our rotation through our middle of our back here. It's not the low back, it's the middle of the back. And we typically actually compensate in the low back when our upper back is tight, especially through the ribs. And having a more aggressive, a harder foam roller is great, but most people have to start with the soft foam roller when they're working out the ribs. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you have low back pain, if you think, I feel like I'm tight in the thoracic spine and in the middle of the back here, and something that I used to suffer from is when I was younger and had my days of playing a lot of video games. Not that video games are bad, but I did a lot of sitting and in one position for a long period of time. My upper back got very stiff, and I actually remember having the sharp pain almost like in my heart. I'm like, am I having a heart attack? But it was actually just stiffness in my ribs that was kind of like shooting through. It felt like it was shooting through, but it was actually stiffness in the rib joints in the back here, and my back was super stiff for a very long time. So if that's happened to you, if you have this kind of sharpish pain here, by all means, it might be, you get it checked out, but it might be the ribs are tight, right? And the middle of the back is tight. So a great one we can do to release that and improve this mobility is using the foam roller. Let's get right to it. So what we're gonna do is lay on our side, right on the ribs here. And if you get here and you're like, oh my God, this sucks. This is the worst thing in the world. Totally fine. You can just hang out here. Also, try and have this arm up, right? We can actually do a couple things. We can hit the ribs. We can hit our latissimus dorsi muscle, and also there's a muscle called the serratus anterior that pushes our shoulder forward. We can work on all three of these at the same time, which is fantastic. So, laying out here, oh man, this really sucks. It really sucks for me. I'm a little bit tight today. And Informed Freestyle, guys, all different directions. Work the heck out of it. Rolling up and down. You can roll forwards, roll backwards. You can take some weight off too. I can actually lean back, put my hand down here or on the roller and unweight myself if it's too much. But I can also really dig in and say, oh man, this really sucks. And essentially what we're doing is springing each rib, right, as we roll on it, and finding ones that are more tender. As you get lower down here, it might be a little bit more aggressive. But don't be afraid to really be aggressive with this. And for me, the foam roller is plenty. If I jump up to the harder one, the rumble roller or something like that, that's going to put me through the wall. So I'm more than comfortable, or not more than comfortable, but experiencing a whole host of fun sensations on the pool toy here. So for me, I'm going to start here. This is one I haven't done in a while, so you're seeing me at a low spot right now. But don't be afraid to, just find spots, guys. Find spots that are tender, and you can stay on it here. You can actually, what I like to do too is you can stay here, and then you can bring both legs up, contract your core, and you can give yourself a self-mobilization. There'll be a little more room here. So we're here. Core on, right? Don't try not to sag. You're on here. You're actually rolling. You put your hand there to stabilize. And you're pinning down one rib and you're rotating the ones below it, which is fantastic. So this is one you can get creative with. The foam roller is fantastic to mobilize your ribs. And guys, right, you can crack your back all day. If the ribs are tight and stiff, it's still going to limit your ability to rotate. And we need to be able to rotate when we're running, right? When we're swinging a golf club, swinging a baseball bat, you need to have this rotation or else you're going to compensate somewhere else, and that typically is the low back causing low back pain.